So welcome back to the second part of this FM20 experiment playthrough challenge thing where we attempt to answer the question, how well can you do by only signing British and Irish players with Chelsea? Here are the rules again briefly, see part 1 for a full explanation, but basically we can only sign players who are British or Irish and we have to accept a bid for the players who are not. Last season we finished second in the Premier League, although way behind Liverpool, and we lost the Champions League final to Bayern Munich, which wasn't ideal. But we did see lots of development from Mason Mount, Reece James, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Tammy Abraham and Fikayo Tomori. Now heading into season 2, obviously much of our transfer business will be shaped by the rules requiring us to sell our non-British players if a bid comes in, but there are a few I'll be looking to offload anyway. So let's start with the outs. I forgot about all the players out on loan because the club failed to sell them in previous summers, so we have to have a bit of a fire sale. So we regret to announce the following layoffs: Nathan, Victor Moses, Mario Pasalic, Demui Bakayoko, Kennedy, Marco Van Ginkel, Barbara Rahman, Matt Miazga, Izzy Brown. I mean, for goodness sake, the board needs to just stop signing players. FIFA, can we get another transfer ban over here please? Bakayoko gets upset when I try to sell him. I mean, you've been out on loan for 2 years, surely you could have seen this coming. Also, the fans are apparently upset about Kennedy leaving because he was a regular starter. I mean, I don't know what club they were watching last season. And then the deal to sell Alvaro Morata permanently to Atletico Madrid is confirmed. The fans are apparently devastated by this, and to be fair, he did just finish second in the European Golden Shoe last season, but I had nothing to do with this deal. Blame Marina, it was her fault. We also sell young defenders Valentino Livramento and Levi Colwill to Bournemouth for 17.5 million. I mean, they are British, but I don't think they're ever likely to make the first team, so thanks Bournemouth. Danny Drinkwater's career-destroying spell at the club is also finally over, and I'm not even worried about the fee, I'm just happy he's off the wage bill. Have fun in Turkey, Danny. Pedro also leaves us on a free, joining AC Milan, where he's already been left out of their Champions League squad, so that was a good move there. Next out the door is Michy Batshuayi, who joins Lille for 16.25 million. I mean, he scored 1 goal last season. 1. And finally, we accept a £52 million bid for Antonio Rudiger from Arsenal, but then he went and turned it down. Really should take a leaf out of David Luiz's book and just, leave when the time is right. Annoyingly, Arsenal then come back, but this time it's for Andreas Christensen, who, while he is a club-trained academy graduate, is Danish, so we have to accept it. But we do manage to get 62 million out of them, so some revenge with the Rob Holding deal there. He is one I wanted to hold on to, but that is the rules. And so in terms of ins, we sign young either-footed fullback Aaron Hickey from Hearts for 1.9 million, a good one for the future. Danny Loader joins from Reading for a bargain 6 million, could be a very useful squad option on the wings. We then sign Chris Mepham for 25 million. He's a brilliant centre-back who could become one of the best in the world. Our midfield depth issue is hopefully addressed by the signing of Sean Longstaff from Newcastle. Now before you say anything, 1, we've only paid Mike Ashley 31 million here, so that's probably not enough for him to buy HMV or whatever he wants to do. And 2, he's actually really good. In terms of a new striker, there's not really much better than Callum Wilson, who joins from Bournemouth for £44 million. He might actually end up starting ahead of Tammy, which is absolutely raiding Bournemouth like they got relegated here. And then the big one, with Pedro gone we need another winger, so for a cool 90 million, a record for a British player, it had to be Jadon Sancho. So the squad's looking pretty good. Ethan Ampadu will also be back in the first team this season, and we'll try to give Billy Gilmore some game time too. Over the summer, England reached the final of Euro 2020, and Tammy Abraham actually scored for England, which was nice. Unfortunately, France scored 3 goals, so no knighthood for Gareth yet. We open the season with optimism, so of course we somehow lose 1-0 to Burnley. We do go on to beat Leeds in our second game before being totally outplayed by Liverpool. It's going to be a long season. Oh, and we have PSG in our Champions League group. By the end of October, things have improved quite a bit, and an 8-game winning run sees us settled in 3rd in the table, although we're already 4 points behind Liverpool and Manchester City. Callum Wilson's got 5 goals so far, while Jadon Sancho gets his first goal in a win over Crystal Palace. We somehow managed to lose 3-2 to Fenerbahce in the Champions League, although at least Joe Gelhardt and Danny Loader both get their first goals for the club. We do, however, trash PSG 4-0 with Marquinhos and Neymar both getting sent off, so easy come, easy go. We do seem to be winning the winnable games for the most part, and at least not losing to the other big teams, so that's something. The first 11 smash 6 goals past Sheffield United, and then the second 11 do the same versus Fenerbahce to get a bit of revenge. The performances from some of the youngsters in particular this season has been excellent. We top our Champions League group narrowly over the Parisians. By the end of November, our youth facilities have been upgraded, giving us apparently the best in the world, which is certainly going to be quite useful. Things actually feel really good. We're scoring plenty of goals and conceding the fewest in the division. Wins against Arsenal, Leicester, Brighton, Bournemouth and Birmingham are undermined by unlucky defeats to Everton and Wolves though, and we end up in a virtual no man's land, still in 3rd, 5 points off City, 6 off Liverpool but 8 clear of Arsenal. Kepa ends the year with 2nd place in FIFA's Best Goalkeeper Awards, while we pick up Manager of the Month for December, and Callum Hudson-Odoi gets Young Player of the Month. He's been really good so far. And then the board go and offer me a new contract. Thank you very much. Can I get a check for this virtual salary, please? I'd be happy with just 1% of it. Into January, I'm only really looking to sign anybody if the rules force us to sell. Chingang Li Fan decide to pay us 20 million for Charlie Masonda, who got left behind after the summer clear out, and we happily accept. Kurt Zouma also departs on loan again, this time to Inter. Also, last season's transfer target Nick Pope joins Atletico Madrid to replace Jan Oblak. I mean, okay. Man City then bid 33.5 million for Antonio Rudiger, which we of course accept. I tried to sign promising regen George Armstrong from West Brom to replace him, but they're playing hardball, so he can wait until the summer. We've got Trevor Chalobah in the reserves as a serviceable 5th choice for the rest of the season. A defeat to Aston Villa derails our league campaign slightly, but thumping wins against Brighton and Leeds with a Tammy Abraham hat-trick keep things going. We start February somehow 11 points behind Man City though. It really doesn't feel like we've been that far off the pace. A hat-trick from João Pedro sees us eliminated from the FA Cup at the 4th round stage by Watford, but a comeback win over Manchester United sees us reach the League Cup final. Tammy scored 7 goals in January, which is nice. But the year continues with inconsistency. Our performances are excellent, but we keep losing away games narrowly in ways that make me want to smash my computer in the street. That's not really an essential reason to be outside these days though. We're still pretty secure in 3rd, but any hopes of a title bid are long over as we find ourselves 14 points behind Manchester City. Every defeat feels like a rage-inducing piece of textbook FMing. I mean, what is this? Also, Willian wanted to leave, but now he doesn't because he's realised no one actually wants him. Anyway, it's time for the League Cup final. We start terribly, with Jorginho just handing the ball to Memphis Depay to give them the lead. We battle back though, and Tammy Abraham grabs his 20th of the season to draw us level and force extra time. We look to be heading to penalties, but we luckily manage to avoid that as Chris Mepper mucks up a basic header and Harry Wilson wins it for Liverpool. Fantastic. We get our youth intake, and again it actually looks pretty good, except our 2 best regens are Ghanaian and Slovakian, meaning they'll be subject to the we have to sell them rule, and unless you maybe just want to give them a cap now, Gareth, maybe? Speaking of Gareth, we are making some inroads into his England setup. Sancho, Mount, Abraham and Tomori are all regular call-ups, but Callum Hudson-Odoi and Reece James are still stuck in the under-21s. Why? Anyway, for the 2nd year running, we're left with only the Champions League to play for. We breeze past Spartak Moscow in the first knockout round, and then our quarter-final opponents are, well, Liverpool. Are you actually kidding me? Oh well, at least our youth development is going well because we do win the Checkatrade Trophy again in what will probably be our only trophy this season, and I'm claiming it for sure. I mean, I've hired Paul Clement to coach them. We go to Anfield in the first leg against Liverpool. They dominate the early exchanges, but then Fabinho gets sent off. Is our luck finally beginning to turn? Callum Hudson-Odoi hits the crossbar, so maybe not, but then 9 minutes from time, an exquisite finish from Tammy Abraham gives us an unexpected win. The second leg is one of those games where absolutely nothing happens for 90 minutes, which for once is great. We go through 1-0 on aggregate. And our semi-final opponents are PSG, because this is just a full-on troll save at this point, but then we did beat them 4-0 earlier on, so who knows. Our league form also improves dramatically as well, with fantastic wins over Arsenal, Everton and both Manchester clubs. We're making a late charge for the title. That's what I would be saying to you if we weren't 15 points behind with 4 games left. But it's fine. We go to Paris without Hudson-Odoi, who's injured, and then they suddenly remember how to play football. Neymar, Leon Bailey, Kylian Mbappe. It's horrifying. Neymar scores. If we can keep it at 1-0, then that should be fine. And we do. Defensive excellence plus attacking incompetence. And then minutes from time, James, Loader and Abraham link for Jadon Sancho to give us a stunning, if undeserved, equaliser. Sancho has, to be fair, been pretty average this season, but he repays every penny of his fee with that goal. Manchester City wrap up the title, snatching it from Liverpool thanks partially to our 1-1 draw with them, but mostly due to just being terrifyingly good all year. We did beat them 3-0 though. In the second leg against PSG, things start dreadfully as Kylian Mbappe scores to cancel out our away goal and give them a lead in the tie. We do hit back before half time with a pile driver from Mason Mount, and then on the hour Jadon Sancho continues being good with 1 and then 2 goals to give us a 3-1 win. 4-2 on aggregate. I don't know what I was worrying about. We've made the Champions League final for the 2nd year running, and for those keeping score, that's now 6 out of 7 seasons I've done on this channel with Chelsea where we've reached the Champions League final. I mean, what am I supposed to say at this point? I swear on my life I'm not fixing this in any way, and I genuinely have no idea how it keeps happening. It's just really weird. Anyway, this year it'll be Zebra in the final. Our general domestic incompetence now means that we have to beat Crystal Palace on the final day to guarantee 3rd place and guarantee Champions League football, and we'll be doing it without our best defender as Fikayo Tomori breaks his back. We race into a 2-0 lead though with a brace from N'Golo Kante, and then despite me saying at half-time not to get complacent, we get the most complacent anyone has ever done and allow Wilfried Zaha to score a hat-trick to bin it off. Luckily Man United draw with Bournemouth, and so despite shooting off our own hand, we finished 3rd and qualify for the Champions League group stage outright. Kepa finishes 2nd in the Golden Glove this year, and we get nobody in the Team of the Year, which kind of sums up the whole season really. And so to Juventus. No Tomori, no Longstaff, and Abraham is out of form, so Callum Wilson's going to lead the line. Let's go. It's a cagey opening, but then half an hour in, Cristiano Ronaldo, you might have heard of him, pounces to shove Juventus ahead. We look shaky, but in the second half Mason Mount thunders home once again, and then shortly after we get a penalty. Tammy's come off the bench and he scores. Ronaldo then misses an absolute sitter and we hold on for a stunning win. I mean, it does kind of feel like we fluked our way here, but I'll take it. 7 out of 11 of the starters are British, which is really nice too, and our yearly best 11 literally says we have a golden generation on our hands, which is really cool. So overall this season has to be considered a success. It wasn't looking like it, but we really saved it at the end. The board luckily still only expect Champions League qualification next season, which is good given how far behind City we were. Tammy Abraham ended with 25 goals, with Callum Hudson-Odoi and Callum Wilson getting 11 each. Hudson-Odoi didn't even get into our top 3 for a Player of the Year award, but for my money he was our best player. Jadon Sancho wasn't outstanding, but he was still really good with 12 assists, along with Mason Mount, who was quietly pretty phenomenal. He wins European Midfielder of the Year, and Reece James wins Defender of the Year. Chris Mepham was also in the Dream Team as well, he's been very solid. Most of these guys are still really young as well, so the future's bright, and with over 200 million to spend in the summer, we've certainly got the funds to improve the squad further, and maybe even build a new stadium at some point. And I've already spent some on Ben Chilwell anyway. So yeah, things are looking pretty good, and oh no.